Good morning. Today we are going to discuss about carbonic acid derivatives. What do you mean by carbonic acid? This is the structure of carbonic acid. C double bond O OH twice. The derivatives of carbonic acid includes urea, semicarbazide, guanidine, etc. Let us discuss the reactions and methods of preparation of urea. This is the formula of urea NH2CO NH2 and it is a diamide of carbonic acid. So it is also called carbamide. Then urea is the end product in the metabolism of proteins in our body and is excreted in urine. So urea can be isolated from urine by the reaction with the hot oxalic acid solution. That reaction we'll discuss later. Then what are the methods of preparation of urea? First one is laboratory method of preparation, that is from phosgene. This is our phosgene. It is carbonyl chloride, that is phosgene, which on treating with the ammonia we get urea, or ethyl carbonate. Another derivative of carbonic acid is ethyl carbonate, which on treating with ammonia we get urea also. That is another laboratory method of preparation. Then large scale method of preparation by the ammonolysis of carbon dioxide in a silver lined special autoclave to get ammonium carbamate. This is the formula of ammonium carbamate, which is heated at 130 to 135 degrees Celsius under about 35 atmospheric pressure to get urea. And another large scale method of preparation is from calcium cyanamide. This is the formula of calcium cyanamide, CaNC triple bond N, which on treating with the dilute sulfuric acid, it will convert it into calcium sulfate and cyanamide, NH2C triple bond N, that is our cyanamide, which on hydrolysis we get our urea NH2CO NH2. These are the method of preparation. And what are the physical properties of urea? Urea is a white crystalline solid having melting point 132 degrees Celsius and which is soluble in water and alcohol but insoluble in ether, chloroform and benzene. Then let us discuss the chemical properties of urea. First one is action of heat. What happens? It heated at high temperature. When urea heated to its melting point 132 degrees Celsius, urea melts. And upon further slow heating to about 150 degrees Celsius, it will lose one molecule of ammonia and yield a white solid called biuret. This is the formula of biuret, NH2CO, NHCO, NH2. Here, one molecule of NH3 getting eliminated. And this biuret, when it is treated with the sodium hydroxide solution and a drop of copper sulfate solution, we get violet color. And this is known as the famous biuret test that we will do in our organic practicals for the detection of urea. And the chemistry behind the violet color is the complex formation of this biuret with the copper sulfate salt solution. Okay. Then another reaction, when it is rapidly heated to 170 degrees Celsius, urea yields cyanic acid. This is the formula of cyanic acid. OH C triple bond N. That is our cyanic acid and ammonia. Then cyanic acid polymerizes cyanuric acid and which exhibits ketoenol tautomerization. This is the structure of cyanuric acid, that is a polymerized form. That is, this cyanic acid trimerizes into cyanuric acid, that is a polymerized form, and this is a keto form which on tautomerized into enol form. This is its enol form. That's about action of heat. Then next chemical property is its basicity. We know that urea is a weak monoacidic base. That is concentrated nitric acid or any other acids can react with this base. Here we discuss the reaction of nitric acid and oxalic acid. That is another confirmatory test for the urea in our organic practical labs. Okay, so first one, reaction with the nitric acid. When urea reacts with the nitric acid, we get urea nitrate. This is the formula of urea nitrate, NH2CONH2 HNO3. That is a white crystalline solid. Then another reaction is reaction with the oxalic acid. We get urea oxalate, NH2CONH2 twice, H2C2O4. Again, that is a white crystalline solid, so we can use in our practical labs. Okay. Next is hydrolysis. Upon heating with the dilute acids or dilute alkali, urea gets hydrolyzed into carbon dioxide and ammonia. And this hydrolysis method can also achieved by the enzyme urease that we will discuss later. The next reaction is reaction with the nitrous acid. What is nitrous acid? HNO2, that is nitrous acid, that can be prepared by the reaction with the sodium nitrite and HCl. NaNO2 and HCl, we get HNO2, that is our nitrous acid, which on treating with urea we get carbon dioxide and N2 plus H2O. Another important method is reaction with the alkaline hypobromite. When treated with an alkaline solution of sodium hypobromite, how can you prepare sodium hypobromite? By the reaction with the sodium hydroxide and bromine. Urea evolves nitrogen N2 quantitatively. That is urea plus NaOH plus NaOBr gives Na2CO3 plus 3 moles of NaBr plus 3 moles of H2O plus N2. And this reaction forms the basis of the hypobromite method for the estimation of urea that we will discuss later. Another reaction is a formation of semi-carbazide. That is another carbonic acid derivative, semi-carbazide. How can you prepare semi-carbazide from urea? When urea treats with hydrazine, this is hydrazine, NH2NH2, we will get semi-carbazide, NH2CO, NH2. That is the formula of semi-carbazide. Next is action with the malonic ester. What is malonic ester? This is the structure of malonic ester. CH2, COO, C2H5 twice. Which on treating with the urea, it will converted into barbituric acid. That is a common name of malonyl urea by the elimination of 2 moles of ethanol. Another reaction is reaction with the acid chloride. Acid chloride reacts with the urea to form its acyl derivatives called urates. CH3, CO, NH, CO, NH2 by the elimination of HCl, that is its acyl derivative. Then another reaction is a polymerization reaction. Urea reacts with the formaldehyde to form a resin. That is a polymerization reaction. Urea formaldehyde resin will form. And this is the reaction. When urea reacts with formaldehyde, HCHO, it will first converted into monomethylol urea. That is the structure NHCH2OH CO NH2, which on again treated with formaldehyde, it will convert into dimethylol urea. And this dimethylol urea further condensed with the more urea and formaldehyde getting increasingly cross-linked during the polymerization to give a three-dimensional resin structure. This is a three-dimensional resin structure. It is urea formaldehyde resin, complete polymerization. And this polymer possess good tensile strength and hardness, and they are water resistant and oil resistant. They are used to make colorless or light colored objects such as cosmetic containers, stove, hardware, etc. Next is a resonance structure of urea. This is the structure of urea. See double bond O NH2 NH2. When this lone pair of electrons shifted to this bond, and this double bond will shift to oxygen. That is its resonating structure, and it can be also resonating by the donation of this lone pair of electrons to this bond, and this double bond can shift to a nitrogen, and we get another resonating structure. And what is the resonance hybrid of the structure urea? This is the resonance hybrid of urea, which means double bond, the carbon nitrogen bonds in urea are neither true single bonds nor true double bonds. That can be explained by its resonance structure. And the presence of negative charge on the oxygen atom in the structure 2 and 3 facilitates the acceptance of a single proton, causing urea to behave as a monoacidic base. And that cation is also stabilized by resonance. When this cation, when this negative charge accepts a proton, it will converted into this salt cation, and which is also resonance stabilized by the donation of lone pair of electrons from nitrogen, and double bond will shift to nitrogen. We get this structure. Again, the lone pair of electrons present in oxygen can shift to this bond, and this double bond will shift to nitrogen. We get another structure. And what is the resonance hybrid structure? This is the resonance hybrid structure. So here we can understand that urea behaves as a monoacidic base by the acceptance of a proton due to the resonance structure of urea. Okay. Next is estimation of urea in biological sample. First method is hypobromite method. The estimation of urea for clinical purposes is usually performed by the hypobromite method. This method is based on the decomposition of urea into water, carbonic acid, and nitrogen by means of alkaline solution of hypobromite of soda. A non-volume, for example, 5 ml of the sample solution of urea, for example urine, is treated with the excess of sodium hypobromite solution containing excess of alkali. The reaction we discussed, and the liberated carbon dioxide will be absorbed by the alkali. We know that we use excess sodium hydroxide. So the liberated carbon dioxide will be absorbed by the alkali, and the liberated nitrogen is collected over water in the attached nitrometer. Its volume, for example V1, consider V1 is the volume, is measured at the room temperature T1 Kelvin and pressure P1 atmospheric pressure, and this volume is reduced to STP, that is temperature at 273 Kelvin and pressure at 1 atmospheric pressure. That is V0 is equal to P1 V1 T0 divided by T1 into P0. That is, we know that P1 V1 divided by T1 equal to P0 V0 divided by T0. That is the standard equation. From that equation we can calculate the volume at STP V0. Then the mass of urea in the sample solution taken is calculated as, we know that 22,414 ml of nitrogen at STP is liberated by 60 gram, that is 1 mole of urea. That is from the equation. Therefore, V0 ml of nitrogen at STP is liberated by 60 divided by 22,414 into V0 gram of urea. That is mass of urea in a non-volume, that is for example 5 ml of the sample equal to 60 divided by 22,414 into V0 gram, and this result from the above method is sufficient to reach a medical diagnosis. Next method is urease method. Urea in a non-volume of the sample solution, for example urine solution, is hydrolyzed in the presence of water and urease, that is an enzyme, at 60 degrees Celsius to produce ammonia and carbon dioxide. This is the reaction. Here 60 gram of ammonia reacts to form 34 gram ammonia. The ammonia formed is absorbed in excess of standard acid. Then the unreacted acid is then estimated by titrating with a non-volume of a standard alkali. That is a back titration. Another method of titration is a back titration to calculate the amount of samples. From this, the amount of reacted acid can be calculated, and which is corresponds to the amount of ammonia formed in the above reaction, and which is the estimation of urea in a given sample. And urease method is more reliable than our hypobromite method. And these two methods are very important method. Another carbonic acid derivative is semicarbazide. This is the formula of semicarbazide NH2CONH NH2, and which can be prepared from urea that we already discussed. From urea and hydrazine we get semicarbazide. Another method of preparation is from hydrazine sulfate with the potassium cyanate. We get semicarbazide and potassium hydrogen sulfate. And semicarbazide is a crystalline solid having melting point 96 degrees Celsius. Next is chemical properties of semicarbazide. First one, its basic property. Semicarbazide form salts with strong mineral acids. That is, semicarbazide reacts with the HCl to form semicarbazide hydrochloride. And semicarbazide reacts with the carbonyl compounds. For example, this is aldehyde. When semicarbazide reacts with the aldehyde, it will convert it into aldehyde semicarbazone. That is RCH double bond O N NHCO NH2. Here water molecule getting eliminated. Water molecule getting eliminated. And carbazide converted into carbazone. And the bond, the functional group is imine, C double bond N. That is our imine, or it is also called a Schiff base. Similarly, ketones can react with the semicarbazide to form corresponding ketone semicarbazone. Here, this is our ketone. Ketone reacts with the semicarbazide to form ketone semicarbazone R2C double bond N NHCO NH2. That is again Schiff base, or it is called imine, C double bond N functional group. That's about semicarbazide. Another carbonic acid derivative is guanidine. This is the formula of guanidine NH2C double bond NH2, which is present in beet juice and also one of the degradation products of purine bases of nucleic acids. It can be prepared from cyanamide, that is NH2C triple bond N, by the reaction with the ammonium chloride. Under pressure, it will convert it into guanidine hydrochloride. This is the structure of guanidine hydrochloride. The very important thing to remember, that is its basicity. Guanidine is a very strong monoacidic base, forming stable salts with even weak acids. And the basicity of guanidine can be explained by its resonance structure. These are the resonance structures of guanidine. The double negative lone pair of electrons shift to this bond and double bond will shift to nitrogen. We get this structure, and the lone pair of electrons present in nitrogen can shift to this bond and the double bond shift to nitrogen, and we get another structure. And the resonance hybrid is this structure. And the presence of negative charge on the nitrogen atom in structure 2 and 3 facilitates the acceptance of a single proton, causing guanidine to behave as a monoacidic base. And the fact that the cation, that is the protonated guanidine formed, is stabilized by the resonance structures. This is our protonated guanidine. Here negative charge abstract a single proton and we get this structure NH2 single bond C double bond NH2 plus NH2. The lone pair of electrons present in nitrogen can donate to this bond and double bond shifted to nitrogen, and we get this resonance structure. Again, the lone pair of electrons present in the nitrogen can shift to this bond and double bond can shift to this nitrogen and we get another resonance structure. And the resonance hybrid is this structure. Here, positive charge is delocalized all through this nitrogen atoms. That's about the basicity of guanidine. And here, in short, we discuss three different carbonic acid derivatives. First one, urea. Second one, semicarbazide. And third one is guanidine. That's about this carbonic acid derivatives. Hope it is clear. Thank you.